Wow.
Wow, it just towers over
They,
everything.
they doing the
Yeah.
same thing in America. You told me that they only giving jobs to women.
Yeah, they give they only give their job to ladies and foreigners who are willing to pay to get the job and who has money.
Yeah, because
What?
women entice.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Why they only giving jobs to women?
That's what is happening here. That's
So
what is
they
I'm
happening here.
saying, why do you think that's happening?
I don't know. No,
easier to control if
no.
you got power over somebody.
You know,
And they just do it.
our politicians, our leaders here are so greedy.
Well, I know, like here in America, there's a lot more programs and opportunities available for women than there are for men. Like
Yeah.
um, like on my cousin, she does a live stream, and she lists a lot of different like help and services that are exclusively for black women. You know,
Mm.
so there's like little to any programs like for black men. Like usually, like a program for black men is only if you've been to jail, like you just coming out of jail,
So you
or if
won't be
you
Yeah.
so you won't
like
be
if
as
you was like sick or something, like if you was like terminally ill or something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But as far as like the rest of the rest of the that specific gender group, um there's hardly any type of programs unless they're like owned and operated by black men. You know, there's some, and I'm not saying that there's no women doing things for black men. There's a lot of that I know of. There's a lot of sisters that have companies and organizations that cater to both men and women. You know, but um, there's far more help and opportunities. For women than there are for men,
Yeah.
well. That's
and and
because
and, and obviously that's happening across the globe.
Mm.
probably not as happening as bad over in Africa because that's a they don't. It's like I guess it is the white people and everything, but it's really like they have a whole group that they just pushing over here. But then
And
again,
another, like he
it's kind of
said,
like saying because
another thing he
the
said
people with the
was
money,
that
they'll rather work with the women that they can have relationships with and do all kinds of fun, and they're 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 less the butt heads. You know what I mean?
one way to look at it would be to prevent a lot of women from doing things like hooking up with people. So it's like, all right, like if this woman has, she has children or she has a family to look after, she needs a job. You know, um, a lot of people would have some lewd acts in mind, for her to receive payment. So to like kind of prevent some things like that from happening, one might be more inclined to give a woman a job. You know,
Well, the woman she's working for a boss, a man that's probably way superior than her husband in so many ways, financially and all that. She gonna be thinking like, there's opportunities, especially if the people in her job, her superiors. So
They're not giving the
that
women
breaks up
jobs
the family.
because they want to help. They're giving the women jobs because they might use them anytime they want.
There you go.
You get me? So if a woman is being the one providing for the family, how is that woman gonna respect her husband?
That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
absolutely. I mean, see, like one of the things about this is breaking down the family structure.
Mm.
If the woman is like it's funny because the husband, that word comes from house band, holding the house
Mm.
together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. yeah,
but the woman is the glue, the brick. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah,
foundation of the house. You know, anytime that
mm,
you see like they show you on TV, they have these sitcoms where like a woman goes out and she gets a job, and then the house becomes a disarray. The children is ripping and running wild, and the dad can't maintain the household, and he needs the
yeah,
mom to either quit her job or reduce her hours to help
mm,
run this family. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like one of the most recent episodes of The Simpsons was was when Marge got a job working at a TV show, and
mm,
and and like it was a lot of same narrative, a lot of chaos in the house and all of that, and it was to the point where she was stressed out, she was burnt out, and she was becoming a whole different person because the stress of her job, she was performing an act of displacement on her own family, where she would come
mm,
home and take out that anger on them because
mm,
she can't take it out at work. She's legally obligated to be nice and all of this, and professional. So when she come home, she let it loose and let it fly, and people get hurt with different kind of energy that they shouldn't have if she was, like in her words, she said, producing my family instead of producing the show. At the end of
mm,
the show, she realized, she said, my greatest production is my family. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to produce. She
mm,
wound up quitting the show because she realized her family was more important than being a career woman and following this whole feminist agenda. So the
yeah,
feminist agenda is designed to pull the woman out of the household to break down the family structure, because
yeah,
just like they have that document that's called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, it talks about instituting daycare and nursing homes to further destabilize the home, because a lot of our families depended on our elders to also alternate as I don't even want to say this word, but babysitters. You know what I'm saying? So instead of
yeah,
calling a babysitter to come in, you might have a grandmom or granddad or your great uncle or whoever or what have you, because it's a tradition that we take care of our elders. So
mm,
they broke that tradition and not taking care of the elders and putting them in a nursing home, and you're only going to go visit them on the holidays. And then now, because
mm,
you don't have nobody to watch your kids when you want to go out or do things or go to work, you got to hire a babysitter, or you got to take your kids to daycare. You know what I'm saying? And they talked
yeah,
about how they wanted to make these businesses lucrative businesses, and these are ways to further destabilize the family, to corner, everybody, and feed them, impurities and things, matters of no real importance, and then basically turn the family against each other, to where
yeah,
the children are isolated, the children are learning from off of TikTok or social media or some
yeah,
gangster rapper or whatever, and they're being
mm,
manipulated. They're not learning core family structure values. They're not
And
learning the
yeah,
nobody's
lineage or
happy.
the history.
And
Right? What'd
nobody's
you say,
happy
Rick?
in that. The
yeah,
grandparents ain't happy
yeah,
because they don't get to see their grandkids.
Right.
The parents ain't happy because they got to hire a babysitter. The
Right.
kids ain't happy because they don't see their parents or their grandparent. They see a stranger. It doesn't work out too well.
Yeah. It destroys the family. And
Everybody
and
and everybody start hating each other.
and like what this document also talks about is how the family structure stands in the way of their agenda. So the family structure, the core values that are instilled in us through our family and our lineage, these things are being eroded by isolating people and then feeding them things in the media. You know what I'm saying?
It's
That's why
called
a lot of this stuff.
kill the men, capture the women and children, and make them ours.
Yeah,
I'm your daddy now.
yeah, and that's what the whole thing about welfare and supplanting the role of the father in the house. Kicking him out. Making that obligation to be able to receive benefits in most cases. You know what I mean? So all of these things where they realize the family, especially with our people, because it's always an attack on our people.
mm,
On carbonated people. Some people don't like titles, but it's always an attack on our people, and they don't want our family structure to get in the way of their agenda. So they had to destroy the family structure by convincing us that it's normal to let other people watch your children. You know what I'm saying? That's not a
yeah,
cut. That's not a natural custom. And like even when you look in nature, you don't
yeah,
see a tiger let some other animal in the jungle watches young. Tigers, they think they leave their young pretty young, but you get what I'm
yeah,
saying. You don't
yeah,
let somebody else watch your kids in most cases, but
mm,
naturally. But now it's like we normalize leaving our children with people who we don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
We have more
mm,
scrutiny for people that we date than the people who actually are that we leave with our children. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's like the irony of that is like we be like a lot of people like on the dating tip they be like really skeptical about having somebody around their children that they dating, and it's like you really gotta sit back and think. It's like, do you know the people who spend most of the time with your children? Do you really honestly know them?
It's called
You
believing in
know,
the system. You believe in the system, you'll do that kind of stuff.
right, right,
That's
and
why
it's like
those traditional people, them traditional old school people, they be like, I don't know, no, I know
right.
such and such, so they're going to be it. Not,
The, the first the first children were led to school by gunpoint. Like it was a military thing. It was like either you take your children to school or else. That's where the truancy and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
yeah,
now we're coming to a point where people they can't stand to be around their children. So they got to either take them to the daycare or somebody in the neighborhood to watch them. Take them to school. All of that. Look with the pandemic, how most people complaining about being around their kids. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
they
mm,
call kids liabilities, but actually they're investments, long term investments for their future. You know, so they've been stopped investing in this country, like America,
yeah,
especially Philly. They stopped investing, man. It's all about they try and get a quick return. So they throw the ancestors and basically like a, a hideaway, and they don't get a chance to to see they grandchildren while they pass on. They just throw them away, and then that erodes the culture because there's nothing to pass on. You know? So now we got these divided homes.
it's because of the culture they brought into our life. You know,
Yeah, but it's not as bad as it is over here. Over here, it's really bad. At least over there, y'all still got remnants of the culture still together. But over here, it's the most extreme situation ever because they have full control over the black people over here. So they really experiment with them.
yeah,
They had us. We was in the hands of the devil. We don't even have no African language we can go back to. We don't even know this.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it's crazy because I've been since I met this brother, I've been going at these people who saying they're not from Africa, and I want to shout out our ancestors like Ivan Van Sertima. You know what I'm saying? Who already put the work in already. You know what I'm saying? And these people actually, you know, can back up the things they talking about with actual research, archaeological digs, and things like that. Actually going to places. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the arrogance and the loss of rites of passage. With our youth, is that people just arrogantly proclaim things that they haven't really looked into. You know, it's like that's why I remember I asked a brother. I told you if I threw you if somebody told you that you somebody threw your phone in the edge of in the ocean, and you went to the edge of the beach and looked at the water and came back and said you looked for it. Did you really look for it, or is that what you calling what you look for it? You know, and
Mm.
that's what a lot of people do with with what they call research. They go and look at something one time and they and they say, yeah, I did research. Research means to search and search again. The means a cycle of searching again. You know what I'm saying? So if you get lethargic in your search, you're probably not going to find what you're looking for. You know, so a lot of these people
No, the
just
problem is
parrot.
you're gonna find what you're looking for, but you won't find the truth. Oh, this is all I need right here. I'm done.
Right. So yeah, a lot of these people, right? A lot of these people, they just like repeat and parrot each other, but they haven't really done any real research to see really what's going on. Like we talked earlier about books being burned. You know what I'm saying? A lot of books burned. What does that mean when a book is burned? And it's the only manuscript of that book, and it's nobody else around that wrote that book. That knowledge is lost. So a lot of people, is like we proclaim things and say things, and we don't even assess the reality that a lot of the knowledge that we need to pontificate and proclaim these things is lost. You know what I'm
Mm.
Well,
saying?
I'm
So
gonna quote
we
the
don't hum
evil.
we don't humble ourselves and be like, look, this is what I know to the best of my knowledge.
See,
You know what I'm
what the thing
saying?
is, the evil philosopher has this one quote, and he says this, and it's true. In the absence of communication, perception is reality.
Right.
That's
Right.
deep right there. In
And
the absence
like
of
one thing I've been
communication.
doing, right, and one thing I've been doing with with these brothers and sisters that say they have no connection to people on the continent, the I'm asking them, let's work together. I'm like, at the end of the day, we all go through the same things. We all pay bills to the same people. We all go through the same struggles. We got a lot more in common than we do to differ. You know what I'm saying? And all of them decline. They
They
one
were
of them
trained
blocked.
that way.
One of them blocked me and even threatened to report me to Instagram. And I said, well, wow, you gonna report me to the same people who stole everything from you? Well, you look at yourself in the mirror before you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like all I'm doing is sparking a conversation with you and extending
Mm.
the olive branch to you and saying, let's work together. Every one of these people who want to go back and forth, I all say, let's go, let's work it out. And as
They
Mm.
soon as
can't.
I
They
say
working
that,
for the devil.
right, as
They
soon as I
working for
say
the
that,
devil.
they decline.
You can't serve two masters. Okay.
And it's like, how is that beneficial to you if you're not willing to work with somebody who just wants to live in a better world? But
Mm-mm.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, to make your group smaller or everybody divide themselves up in little cliques, right? That's not making you stronger. That's making you weaker.
Mm.
It's making you easier to target, easier to
It's
knock
called a
off,
small
easier
echo
to
chamber.
put people against each other, you know? And it's like, I'm starting to do an experiment and I want everybody to start to do this experiment. When you open up your TikTok, when you open up your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever, just refresh the screen maybe once or twice. Or just take note of the first thing that you see when you open up your screen. And if you start to notice that, yo, every time I open up my phone, I'm seeing something that's telling me that I'm not from Africa. You know what I'm saying? And let's
Mm.
start let's start a conversation about that. Like, is anybody seeing that? Just like how we talked about today. Is anybody noticing a lot of these AIDS medicine commercials? Or how about this one? Is anybody noticing the commercials with the black guy? I mean, with the white guy and the black girl together, or dating in a house together with mixed kids and all of that. Anybody noticing like a pattern with some things that you're seeing on TV? Maybe you might have seen a pattern that I'm not familiar with. But let's start to have a conversation about the things that we're seeing in the world.
How about
Just like what
on
Rick is
BET?
saying.
On BET channel, all you see is those gay HIV commercials. There's like all the black guys is gay. Like
Right.
they no, they gay. I'm like, what in the world? This is not culturally right. I mean, most in Africa they don't even accept homosexuality. What's going on? What they trying to tell us over here?
They accept it now. Obama changed all of that.
Well, like I said,
I
these people live from Davos, the devils from Davos. They said that pedophilia is going to save the world. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they say that it's better for people to hump on children, than to hump on each other and possibly create another human being.
Hey, I got an ideal.
Like that's like you see how sick these people think, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, at the same time, we got a whole another set of white people that's running around trying to lock up child trafficking. So that, and it's like I've been telling people, like, for a couple years now, that like, just like I'm a quote E. Shout out to E. E said this to me. He said this situation is like a group of thieves that robbed the bank and can't decide how to split the money.
Mm.
And that's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with gangbangers. We we dealing with gangbangers who's gangbanging on each other, and we're seeing in the midst of this, we're seeing like, all right, these people both, they all like these. See, the thing about it is that we can learn from these types of situations. We
Man,
can
that's some
learn that
funny shit.
even when people don't, even when people disagree, they can come together on one thing. And
Yeah.
it's and that's just carbonated people or whatever you want to call yourself. We can agree that a lot of people come together like clockwork when it's against us. They fight amongst themselves all the time. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to us, they work together like clockwork. So, and that's the thing that we got to understand now. Even though these people are fighting in front of our face and they don't quite agree on things, but they do agree on one thing: they don't fuck with you, and they don't fuck with you no matter what you call yourself. And
Mhm.
and that's what I'm saying to our brothers and sisters. What you gonna do about that? What are we going to collectively do about that? How are we going to protect ourselves if we're separating ourselves and we're causing all this dissension and dysfunction in our own communities and our own families because of our ideologies and our beliefs and our theories?
First, we gotta separate from the bullshitters. Rule number one. Second, start teaming up with independent people that's doing shit. Third,
Yeah.
get the money men.
Man,
Fourth, make
racist.
sure everybody's loyal. And that's all you need. Fuck the rest of them. That's it. You can't worry about the whole crowd because 80% of the people are followers. He
Racist
has to
from
rule.
50.
It's just hopefully they get out of our way. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like, it's
you
like,
gotta make them get out of your way.
the thing is like, we share when we share space with people who don't mean us well. You and all of your possessions and everything you care about is constant danger. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And it's
So,
like that's
mhm.
one of the things that people who say that they from here, they don't understand that. It's like if I go, if I'm a just like I watched that video where the guy, I forget his name, I want to shout him out, but he's one of the most requested motivational speakers in the world right now. He had a video clip where he was showing a lion being jumped by 20 hyenas, right? And it was just too many of them, and the lion was trying to hold his own, and then here come another lion. And the point that he was trying to make is that it only takes two lions to run off 20 hyenas. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I see y'all. I see a lot of lions out there. I see y'all. I see a lot of young
Mhm.
lions coming up, and I salute y'all. But you can't hold off the 20 hyenas by yourself, family. We got to develop that pride. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got to develop that pack. We got to come together because if them hyenas catch you slipping, I don't care how big and bad you think you are as a lion. Them hyenas will nip at you and nip at you until you out of here. You know what I'm saying? Until you can't even stand up, and then they just gonna eat you alive.
Yeah.
You
And the
need it.
other
You
thing,
need you. Go
the
ahead.
other thing you gotta wonder is when they nipping at you, they nipping at the backside of you. And you know what? I don't know if you know how lions are made, but
Right.
right in behind the lion is their nut sack.
Right.
So I mean, I mean, you know that you in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. You know, them hyenas trying to grab one of his nuts. Because once you grab a lion's nuts, you take his nuts off. Let me tell you something. That ain't no lion no more. So
You know what?
that's why you gotta protect your rear.
The boy, his name is E. His name is E too. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out the boy. I forget his whole name, but his name is E too. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
yeah, like we had to we got all like just on that strength. We got all kind of African proverbs that make sense. Like, where do you think that the book of Proverbs came from? Where do you think that Psalms came from? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Africa.
it's so many right. It's so many different things that it's like, that we use in our everyday lives that is like, like we don't even realize the origin is our ancestors. And it's like we give a lot of stuff away because we don't accept our lineage. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
Yeah.
we got ours kind of stripped off literally. So we ain't have we ain't we, it was already going before we got here. So you just gotta make that connection and make something of it. That's all.
and we got to arm ourselves with knowledge. We got to develop our own systems of sustainability. You know what I'm saying? Because like Rick is always saying, license, titles, and deeds. You know what I'm saying? LLCs and trusts and C corps and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Life insurance. All of these different things that can help sustain us that these people use to dominate us because we don't even know. You know what I'm saying? We's too busy trying to figure out who we are, but we not even trying to figure out how to sustain ourselves. You
You
know what I'm
might
saying? Like,
dominate for a generation, but these motherfuckers dominate through bloodline. So that's the first mess up. You want to be the
like,
greatest, but you don't understand. You only can be great for so long. It's about the
right?
bloodline. They just
Like,
ignorant.
like is always going to be a quest to understand who you are, but you also had to understand where you are. You know what I'm saying? Like I said the other day, situational awareness. That's like the key thing in nature. You know what I'm saying? Like when a deer hears some shit in the woods, you see they stand up like this and they say, "Oh
Hmm.
shit, no, that shit ain't sound right. I'm out of here." You know what I'm saying? Situational awareness. You understand where you are. You're in a climate, in an environment that's dangerous, and is you don't have time to be, pleasing yourself with things that have no real importance. You got to be in survival mode. When we get to a better space, we can argue about all whatever, but we in survival mode right now. You know what I'm saying? So like I said the other day, I'm trying to wake a brother up who's laying on the train tracks, and the train is coming, and the train is coming slow, and I'm like, brother, wake up, and I'm trying to get the ropes off you, and you like, get your hands off my ropes. I'm gonna lay right here, you know. And it's like, man, like I'm not gonna get hit by the train trying to help you. I'm gonna get
Well, that's
eventually gonna
what.
have to. If you don't want to get up, you eventually gonna get hit by that train. But like just like if we in a car, like I said this, if we in a car, and we all in the car together, and the brakes go out, right? The brakes go out on the car, and I'm like, yo, like we flying down the highway, and I'm like, yo, the brakes just went out on the car, yo. And then somebody in the back saying, well, put the radio on WDAS. I want to hear some jazz music. And then somebody say,
That
no,
sound
I
like
want to listen
some.
to Power 99. And
That
then
sound like
somebody
some
else is saying,
slave talk
well,
right there.
WDAS is better, right?
Mm.
Mm.
And then now you're arguing about which radio station is better while we speeding down the highway in a car with no brakes. How the hell is that going to stop us from stopping this car from hitting something and killing us all?
Mm.
You gotta have situational awareness. Fuck that radio station right now.
Nah, they,
We
they
can
gotta
talk
take
about that
sovereignty.
shit later.
They
You know
gotta
what I'm
take
saying?
sovereignty in
But
their lives.
let's figure out how the fuck we gonna stop this car and save our lives. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
that's
Yeah.
too much
All
Yeah.
these
work.
things cause all if what you arguing about causes dissension and distraction and you not to fuck with people, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Mm.
And you're
Real
gonna
simple.
convince other people to do that. That's your answer. Yeah, you smart.
I can't make this shit up. Like all of these people who came at me and said this and said that. Once I say the magic words, let's work together. They disappear.
So
They
you know what
disappear.
they all
They don't.
about.
They don't want to work together.
They working for
Why?
their master. They working for their evil white master. It's that simple. Because men manifest. These guys ain't even men. These are sentinels.
Men
Sentinels
put
ain't even
differences
here.
aside and get shit done. Like all right, like the men who built this country, right? The men who built this country. Do you think all of those men who built this country? You think they all agreed on everything?
Hell no, they
None of
actually
them buildings,
some
none of them buildings, none of the buildings or the roadways or none of the stuff that we enjoy would have ever got done if all those people agreed on everything before they got started. We wouldn't have nothing. We would have nothing done. So at some point in time, you got to put your differences aside. You know, not even agree to disagree. Just put it aside right now.
don't even
You know what
talk
I'm
about
saying?
it.
Yeah.
Don't even talk about it. Why you
If
talking?
if,
You
if
just
you
keep
if you in
talking,
the
man.
house, if you in the house with your family and y'all arguing about the basketball game and some stranger bursts through the door, what y'all gonna do? You gonna still trying to hold the argument, or y'all both gonna jump into action, or how many of y'all gonna jump into action and go to work on this intruder in the house?
You just keep talking, man. You need to stop.
On this intruder, you know what I'm saying? Think about it, man. You know, it's an intruder in your house.
Well,
It's an intruder in your house, and you are going to argue about everything else except for the intruder in your house.
but see, they're like so you know how sometimes women like to be right all the time. Like they're like they've been hanging around their mom so much that that's all they know. They want to be right. They think being right is going to actually change reality of the situation when it don't because it already happened. Now something else is happening. They want to just it, it, it's not manly. I'm telling you, a man's supposed to manifest things to happen, but
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
like
do that.
it's
They're
coward
doing
shit.
that.
You know
It's
what I'm
the
saying?
opposite.
And
It's female. You know,
in
the
this
female
world, you
sex.
either is
Point it out.
in this world you either a bully or a coward, and that's no bullshit. Pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's cowardism. You know, like I remember I used to be in school when I used to be in school, and I used to see this guy to be slapping this dude in the back of the head, right? And he was a bully, right? And
hmm
and everybody knew he was the big bad bully in the class. So certain people knew not to mess with this guy. I only seen one. There's only two people that I know that ever stood up to him. Myself and some other guy who got the brakes beat off him. You know what I'm saying? Now I didn't get the brakes beat off me. We didn't even fight. The trippy thing about that is that when I stood up to him, he respected me from that, and we became friends. How about that? But that's
That's
another
because
can of worms.
yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is this. The point I'm trying to make is that when the bully was slapping the dude in the back of the head, other people in the class started laughing, right? So this guy who's in a compromised situation, I'm getting slapped in my head by the bully in the class. I don't want no smoke with him, but I don't want to be made a fool of. What does he do? He starts swelling up on the people who are laughing. He's swelling up on the people who are laughing. I had a brother tell me the other day, you don't even speak African. And I said, bro, you wrote this in English. You know what I'm saying? But that probably went over his head like a fitted. You know what I'm saying? But how do you think that a person who had a native tongue came to not having a native tongue? By murder, genocide, rape, plunder, extortion, etc., etc. So it's like, why would you even make fun of a situation like that? Like, what's going on with your moral compass that we would make fun of something like that? You know what I'm saying?
He's weak and he accepted that he came from He believes that his people is inferior because they weren't cruel as his people. So, you know, he sees it as a weakness.
It's crazy, you know.
So he's hating on his people. He don't even see the strength. All he
Right.
sees,
Like, just like my
he
man
just see
Pope
what
would
they
say.
was doing. He just do
Like
what he
my
was
man
doing.
Pope would say, you don't think in your native tongue, you think in English. Be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You think in English. If you expand your mind and you put other things in your mind, then yeah, you will be able to think in another language because you'll
Hmm.
have other languages in your mind. But if you just standard issue like everybody else, how can you try to shame somebody for not knowing what was stolen from their ancestors? Like people's tongues cut out. People death threatened if you practice this or if you taught that.
And people
Like
getting
straight
their
up
balls cut
brainwashing,
off. They love
right?
cutting off
Like
black men balls for some reason. I don't know what that was all about.
and it's like, man, we gotta have like, in our
There,
exhibitions, and because I mean, all of this is exhibitions, but if we're gonna have these exhibitions, let's have some class. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing.
there is
We wanna argue about the radio station while we in a car with no brakes, speeding down the damn highway. Just remember that. But in your
there is a
exhibitionists, but in
king.
your exhibitions, have some class.
Yeah, king.
Yeah, I'm here.
There is a museum that's in Calabar, that's Cross River, close to Cameroon. There is a museum there that talked about that shows you a clearer picture of how these people was treating the black people. And if you see that every time you see this picture, anytime you see a white man, you be getting mad at him.
Right. It's how,
Mm.
it's like, man, like I just seen a festival that Ghana was doing. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Ghana had a tribute to our ancestors that was lost in the slave trade, and they did a reenactment.
Yeah.
I was angry at the reenactment.
Mm.
I wasn't angry at the people, but I'm angry at what happened. But I seen a movie that was made by some French people that's called Goodbye Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh no.
And
Mm.
and I don't even think that if you like I don't even think it's possible to watch it more than twice without really wanting to do something to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just leave it at that. But Goodbye
That's
Uncle
why they
Tom's
put the
Cabin.
It
film
was
out there.
real.
That was the sole reason why they put the film out there to create more division and hopefully some violence.
Well, see, the thing is that
It
if
makes
you
black
found
people
out that
grab the
somebody did
firearm.
something to you, that's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? That type of feeling is inevitable. If somebody showed you a videotape of somebody doing something to your brother or to your sister, and that's what I'm saying. About the beehive thing. The dissension and the disconnection allows us to look at something, to look at an atrocity of a family member, and then try to normalize it or generalize it or weaponize it. Oh yeah, they did this to make us feel this way. That doesn't excuse the things that had, like, did you see the part where they knocked brothers and sisters teeth out to put a
They, sh-
funnel in their mouth to force feed them? Like
they
that's
should have
like that
never
shit is
made that
horrific.
movie.
Like they did experiments on, like, just like how Rick was saying, they did experiments on brothers and sisters. They bred they
They should
bred
have never made that
people. They
movie.
bred people in this country. And it's like I don't want to stay on that. I want to be progressive. I want to progress. I want to say, how can we come together and build ourselves up? It's like, all right, like, we
Also,
get mad at what white people say, but white people be giving us jewels and we don't even appreciate them. White people tell you to go back to Africa. White people tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Instead of doing that, we get angry and want to fight them and do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it a bean. Like, look, I don't. If anybody hate what they did to us, it is me. But let's keep it a bean. A jewel is a jewel. And when somebody tell you to pull yourself up by your, don't keep asking them for something. You need to do exactly that. And I'm saying to our brothers and sisters, how can we do that? How can we systematically work our own problems out?
Resources. Period.
There you go.
Politicians,
Build
let's stop
infrastructure.
waiting on that. Let's come together and work together. You know what I'm
I've
saying? And it
tried so
shouldn't
many
be.
times. Don't let it work.
And when
It
I
never works.
uh, say it again.
I've been trying it for 50 years. It never works.
Well,
We got to improve ourselves then.
well. See the thing about the beautiful thing about that is that you did that and you inspired and you planted seeds along the way, and those seeds became trees, and then those people doing the same thing. So even if you decide, you know what, I done my work, I need to chill. You got a whole bunch of other young lions coming behind you, willing and eager to do the same thing, to put in that same 50 years of work, and another 50 years of work, and another 50 years of work, as long as it takes. You know what? One of the things that we understand about these people is that they operate under that function. As long as it takes, we're going to do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? We saw Bill Gates. He said, "Oh yeah, the next time around with this pandemic, oh yeah, the people going to pay attention next time. They're already planning their next attack. You know what I'm saying? What are we planning? We planning to one up each other. We planning to win a debate. We planning
I
to
don't think
order
I've learned,
something from Amazon to make us look more like what we think we are.
You
I
better
don't
be
think
it.
I've left
You know what I'm saying?
too much in the world.
We gotta keep it real with ourselves. Just like the like people be doing a genealogy, right? Who owns ancestry.com? Anybody ever looked into that? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like man, it's like you're trusting people who you can't trust. You're trusting people who you can't trust. They can tell you anything. And I'm not even saying that they lying or that anything. I'm just saying that if you have a history of not being able to trust somebody, how can you fully trust anything that they do or say after that? A lot of y'all, like with the block feature, like we talked about, our people with the block feature and blocking each other. We like to block each other and completely cut off communication with each other for maybe one or two offenses. But how many offenses have these people committed against us? How many? It doesn't matter if somebody rehashes the video and shows it to us to try to weaponize us to make us angry about these people. How many offenses have they committed against us? But why do we still openly trust people who have committed millions of atrocities against us? Not
Who
one or
trusts them?
two. We
The
block each
Democratic
other. We
voters
like
trust them.
we got keep it real with ourselves, man. We
Curse your
got family
people for
members. We got
generations.
family
Yeah.
members who we don't talk to, and we can count on our hand how many times that they did us wrong. But you can't count on your hand how many times these people did you wrong, and we still roll up our sleeve. We still open our mouth for these people. We still sit down where they tell us to sit at. We still trust them. We still go out to events and think everything will be okay. And we do all of these things, but and we trust them, but we don't trust each other. That's the problem. That's the shackle that they put on us. That we don't trust each other, but time and time again, we trust them. I gotta get on my Umar shit. Time and time again, we trust them. Time and time again, we trust them, family. You know
Well, like I
what I'm
said,
saying? But seriously, like
once
like
you get
like
with the
all
right
jokes
people,
aside,
the right things happen.
Every time a nigga does you dirty, he has allied himself with the enemy.
but see, this is the thing. Look, I
Every
get it.
single time.
It
He
hurts more.
becomes an
It
ally
hurts more.
instantaneously.
Look,
And
it,
everybody
it,
talks
it, it
about build. Go ahead.
That's true.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I don't even
I
remember what the
talked
fuck I
enough.
was going to say.
You said everybody was talking about Bill, and when people be trying and how they go through, the frustrations of trying and not succeeding. You know what I'm saying? And unifying. I get you. I'm with you.
We,
I
we
understand.
hit a point. We hit a point to where the dreams now are really just dreams because people are so bad now that none of that shit is ever going to happen. Unification or none of it. It's a good conversation and all, but We've hit new lows, and we've been tested in the past 2 years, and we failed. Period. End of story. They
the
failed.
thing,
The whole human race
like,
failed.
well, the
You
thing
know why
about
we
like
failed?
it's like all right,
Because
it's
we
like
failed to make
we hear that
ourselves
story.
great enough to be it. That's why. That's the true reason.
Why?
We failed to make ourselves great enough to be the leader that we need to be. So if we start taking the true responsibility, and make those changes, we'll realize that it's always been waiting for us. It's waiting for us. We just got to get ourselves right to make those moves. It's called
I'm gonna
leverage.
tell you like this. That word us, that shit
Well,
is dwindling away more and
well,
more every
that's why
day.
I said it.
Every
That's what I
vegan
said
nigga
about
in
planting
this whole
seeds.
fucking globe
That's what I said
has
about.
to
That's what I
tomorrow
said about
morning.
planting seeds. We all like, no, like you think about Johnny Appleseed, right? We know the story. He didn't see none of his trees grow. Like I said, he planted trees. He walked. They say he walked all over the world. Peep the allegory. He walked all over the world planting trees. So he went through all different kind of conditions. He might have straight up walked through a war zone. He might have been planting trees with no hope for humanity. You know what I'm saying? And then he died. But then people sometime later appreciate those trees. So it's like even when we say these things, right? I feel how you feel. Like I'd be like, damn, like I really be like worried, like, damn, it's over. You know, shit like that. I feel everything that you're saying. But then it's like, all right, when we plant seeds, those seeds are planted. And we don't get to control what happens to that seed after that. It's the things that we saying right now might move somebody in the next 20 years, the next 5 years, the next two days, whatever. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? And like I said the other day, we gotta be cool with not knowing things sometimes. And these is one of those times where it's like, okay, yeah, I don't know what the future holds. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I really was thinking about like, yo, the trippy thing about faith, the trippy thing about faith is not knowing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what anchors a lot of people to religions, even though you show them the proof. You know what I'm saying? It's about faith, where these people hold on to something, even when the truth is in their face. And it's like, no, I can't give up on that. That's a test of my faith. You know what I'm saying? So even when the situation is dire, we still gotta have faith. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what get people through shit. Like literally straight up getting people through wars. You had people in the middle of war zones thought they was gonna die, thought they never gonna see their kids again, their family again, because it's just too hectic out here. But because something kept pushing them on, and they here to tell their story because of that, and then they can say, "Damn, yeah, that was faith." So I'm not one to subscribe to different religions, but I do understand the concept of faith. I do understand resilience. I do understand determination, discipline. I understand those things and the principles that are being taught in all different religions. There's thousands of different religions, you know, and like we sometimes we get so anti-religion that we just throw away jewels. I always say this: don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? On my phone, I got the Bible, the Quran, the Talmud, the Torah. You know what I'm saying? We can get jewels out of all of these things, and we can prove our points out of all these things. We don't have to weaponize these things. Some of these principles
Same
make
old
sense.
1,000-year-old
Like you got
circle of bull.
you got people who fight about
Burn it
religion,
all.
and look, they won't even hear each other out. But when you compare the good things, it's like, oh, y'all pretty much saying the same thing in terms of what's good. Now you got things that's radical, but if somebody tell you to live right, treat your family right, you take care of yourself, wash up, things like that, how is that wrong for you? You know what I'm saying? It's jewels in these things. And if we worried about just competing with each other and going at each other all the time, we missed opportunities to learn lessons and to be better people. And that's what this life is about. Like if the life isn't about anything else, it's about ascending to a higher plane, a higher state of consciousness, a higher being. You came here at one level, and when you leave here, you'll be at another level. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Like when people say, well, you put away childish things. We put away childish things like bickering and saying this is my toy and shit like that. We still playing that game. Oh, this is mine, and that's childish. We got to work together, or you said it the other day: unify or die. So sadly, a lot of people are choosing to
That's
die.
what I meant by the resources. There is zero else on the table. That's it. You could be as knowledgeable as you want, sitting up in a fucking homeless shelter somewhere. We live under a system that is not going
because
away.
that's a lack
And
of
we'll
work.
never
That's a
defeat,
lack of.
and another thing is, we'll never defeat that system either. Not while I'm alive. So while I'm here, I gotta play ball.
That system going down.
Well, there you go. Well, it might not happen in your lifetime, but it's going to happen.
This is the last year for the system.
The lifetime of a civilization is roughly 300 years or something like that.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying? And that's and civilizations usually cave in on themselves. That's what the whole Game of Thrones. That's what the whole Game of Thrones shit with the House of the Dragon shit. That's what that shit is about. They showing you how this powerful dynasty collapsed in on itself because of infighting and bullshit, and arrogance, and envy, lust,
the
and
whole
greed.
thing
You
fell
know what I'm saying?
apart.
All of the things that's running the world today.
Hold on. I just want to say one. God damn. The whole thing fell apart because of a handful of dickheads. Thousands of people were on board for the same thing.
How many in history? In history, how many people? But look, in history, how many people have made decisions that resulted in millions of people being dead? One person being responsible for millions of people dead. So we got a dude walking around in the fucking White House who responsible for millions of people with death. You know what I'm saying? Just one dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like these. So in the chain of command, these people are getting more dangerous as they go along.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like King Leopold III ain't got nothing on these new dudes.
There's a million YouTube channels and forums that you can go onto and everything.
And we in the Nazi sled. We in the Nazi sled with the Benz emblem.
Yo,
we in the Nazi sled.
Can y'all hear me, yo?
Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me? No, I want to make sure my audio right. I think it's a delay or some shit.
No, it sounds good. You good?
What about this?
Oh,
did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Damn. I finally figured this shit out, yo. So when somebody say something hard, I can go. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I like that. Right? Well, you got that shit worked up. You gotta I gotta get you a tiger uppercut on that jump. You know what I mean?
No, man, everybody knows what that is.
You know, that's cohesiveness. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me see if I can give y'all a background beat. Listen, the reason why I left last time is because I clicked on something and this whole motherfucking computer shut down. So it might happen right now. So if I just suddenly vanish.
Well, I'm signing off. We're signing off on Instagram. Instagram is gonna boot me in like 30 seconds. Wow. So that, but I mean, we still running on the other drones though. But Instagram, we out of here. I shade peace and benedictions. Only thing.
Hold up.
Only you can prevent cognitive dissonance, man. We out. Yeah, fuck Instagram though and Facebook.
I'm gonna play a couple bars of this new beat.